For you, what kind of... he's so shy. It's so funny. He's not like this. Usually he's the one who talks a lot, but right now he's kind of climbing up. All right, so I'm in the kitchen right now with Chef Alan. Chef Alan is the chef in all the wildflowers and little flowers and pinks and probably a bunch of other stuff that's coming up soon. This whole series is about kind of like real food that you grew up eating, food that you like making at home that you don't necessarily make in your restaurants. What are you doing? And so today, I asked you to make a beefsteak because it's something you always brag about.
No.
You always say you make a good beefsteak, so that's why I wanted to kind of put you to the tape. I made beefsteak before, but I'm pretty sure I've made it wrong. So what are the things that people usually get wrong with beefsteak? Maybe we start there.
They put cornstarch. Can we start?
To thicken the...
Yeah, that's not cool.
All right, so how do you like making yours?
Fat.
A man of many words. All right, so we're using some flank, right?
Yeah, flank's good.
And you're keeping some fat on the beef as well?
Yeah.
All right.
So you want to render that out.
And that was marinated a while ago with some onions. It was marinated with some calamansi and some soy sauce.
That's it.
All right. And how much do you put, or you just kind of taste it as you go?
You taste it?
If it feels right?
3 soy sauce, 2 calamansi, I think is what it said.
I've seen beefsteak done with vinegar before instead of calamansi.
Nah.
Wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's adobo.
You were saying your mom, obviously all Filipino moms, great Filipino cooks. Was she the one who taught you the recipe or no?
Yeah, I guess so. She'll still say she can make it better now. She said it last week.
And like, when was the first time you made it?
Probably when I was 8.
And what do you like so much about it?
Beef.
For you, what kind of... He's so shy. It's so funny. He's not like this. Usually he's the one who talks a lot, but right now he's kind of climbing up. What do you feel is important when making Filipino food, right? Because a lot of people, there are no kind of like big recipes as you would like a bechamel or French sauces or anything. So what makes good Filipino food?
Well, I think all food kind of came from like necessity.
Yeah.
And so you have to understand a recipe in order to make it right, instead of adding a lot of
the more modern stuff.
Yeah, sweet stuff.
And how do you feel like...
I mean, beefsteak is interesting because the name itself suggests it's not Filipino, right?
Correct.
But maybe it is not beefsteak. Maybe it's just beefsteak.
Beefsteak, yeah. Saying things out of necessity, that was Filipino food, usually kind of like using scraps and...
Well, also like, if you think about something like sinigang, people who grew up cooking that would make it based on the local souring agent.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and the local purpose.
So whatever is in your province, right?
Yeah.
There's a whole kind of like quote-unquote revolution of Filipino food now. Do you feel like people are cooking it better now, or do you think it's something that's slowly getting lost through generations?
Yeah, they're definitely cooking it better. I mean, once the serious chefs, like now everyone has an opportunity to cook it without being afraid people are gonna like it, right?
Yeah. And so kind of like growing up in your household, what was like the staples that made you fall in love with the cuisine in general?
I guess it would have been the only cuisine I knew.
Because you grew up here.
Yeah, I grew up here.
He has an LA accent, but he actually grew up here. You were here till you were?
16.
So usually when I've seen a lot of people will actually try to sear the meat a lot.
Yeah, but
here
the
you're really
problem
just cooking
is-
it with the sauce, right?
Well, you can try, well, we're gonna sear it right now. The thing is with searing it, you never make this much, you always make a lot, right? And so you can't sear meat because it's gonna release water.
Yeah.
By doing this, you pulled a lot of the water out.
Which will also be kind of like your sauce, right?
Yes. So now, once we start searing it, it's not gonna release that much water because it's already here.
And so by searing it, you really just want to kind of intensify the flavor, give it kind of like a nice color and all that stuff.
Well, and we're also gonna saute it with some garlic.
So when you do an adobo, do you do the same thing? Are you one of those that actually sears the meat as well, or?
Yeah,
just
and
kinda
again,
stew it?
if you're able to sear the meat, and you gotta remember that like it depends on how big the recipe you're making it. So like if you're making a big batch, there's no searing.
Yeah.
Unless you have,
Like a huge freaking wok, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What do you need? Onions?
well, in France you do onions and garlic. In the Philippines you do
Garlic first.
Then onions.
And I always, you know what's funny? I always get shit about that online. People are like, you're burning your garlic by putting it first, but I'm like, I've always learned to put garlic first.
Well, yeah, but then not in
Not in Western countries, that's for
culinary
sure.
school, right?
Yeah,
So just do the garlic until it's
just fragrant.
fragrant. Oh, we'll do a little bit of onions, but not a lot, because we want to do that. So now we can nicely sear the beef. without it steaming too much because all the water's out, right?
Yeah, because I've always been one to kind of make it in one
Well,
time.
generally, when you make this at home,
You
I
would.
mean, people
Right.
wouldn't use steak.
What would
you would
they
u-
use?
you would use a tougher cut of meat.
Okay.
I think when I was growing up, my mom would just buy shank, and then I remember the lady from the market.
So how do you make sure that this doesn't get tough?
Well,
If you're kind of quote unquote steaming it first with a sauce, and then
well,
you
again, the thing is with beef. I mean, we're starting off with a fairly tender cut anyway, so it should be fine. But generally, you do start with, like at home, you would have tougher meat. But the thing is with, like, the meat will start getting tough, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, we're now cooking steak well done.
So with the tougher meat, would you cook it longer?
Tougher meat, what people would do is do this. Marinate it and then get it tender first.
And cook it for
do
a
this.
long time
Yes,
there, and
longer,
then transfer
yeah.
it.
So it's tender. Like this is tender meat. So see, like if you try doing this raw, it's gonna release all that liquid, which
And
it
then
did
it'll
there.
be very hard to kind of get it.
Well, yeah, and then you're just never gonna get Maillard reaction.
This is Jason, by the way. Jason's my Korean lost brother.
There you go.
Yeah. What restaurant does Jason work in?
Rada.
Wildflour Rada.
So now, I think we got a little bit of browning. You can smell the garlic. It's not burnt. See the onions there. Some people will put sugar. I don't think it needs sugar. I think
Some people cook the onions to death also by making it just like super soft and caramelized.
which is good also. And we're gonna get some of that. Actually, we're gonna put the rest of the onions.
Because you'd still want, like I like it when I can actually cut through the onion.
Yeah. Is that it? So we add the rest of the liquid. So again, generally, if you use a tougher cut of meat, which is
More common.
probably more common,
Yeah.
the first part that we did, where you marinate and then you simmer, should be longer.
Yeah. Because right now you did maybe, what was it, like
Less
5-10 minutes, not even, with the sauce, and then here it's been what, about 5-10 minutes as well.
Yeah. So if you look, without even trying to thicken it, the sauce is
It's
the
already
sauce
kind of
has
like,
a lot
yeah,
of like body,
it has a lot of fat to it.
and then you can just adjust with a little bit more calamansi if Jason moves faster.
You guys should hit. How's Alan as a boss?
He's a great boss.
Whoa! Is he one of those chefs?
and-
Is he one of those chefs that like kind of shouts in the kitchen, or?
Well, it's kind of normal na in the kitchen.
So, oh yeah, it's true. You're used to it.
If I start whispering to you, you should be afraid.
What is kind of like the most important thing you think you've learned from Alan?
Oh, come on, man.
There's no right answer, but there are a lot of wrong answers. Just so like you know.
Okay, this is
Like, what do you think makes a good cook?
Come in early and come out late.
Hard work. I like it.
This is done.
Is it done?
Yeah, but there's no rice.
It's fine. It's fine. We're keto. It's not too saucy, so it doesn't have to float in sauce. Because a lot of times I see beef covered in sauce and then covered in like raw white onions.
No,
That's like the
people
most
do
common.
that, I think, because generally people love eating rice. You know how people eat like
So it's kind of like salsa.
Yeah, because it's the
keep
sauce.
adding there. Yeah.
But if you make the sauce good enough, I mean, if you add more liquid to this, then what I said about being able to create your sauce
Or
properly.
like a thicker sauce.
You need more fat.
Yeah.
You want to use that one? So I think also one of the things people look for when they eat beef steak is the different levels at which onions are cooked.
So textures
You want an onion that's
super
cooked really well, and then so it starts getting sweet. I like tasting the raw.
The kind of like the acidity
Yeah.
of the red onion. Is that why you ask for both red and white? So the white releases a bit more sweetness,
No,
the red is a bit more harsh? It's an aesthetic thing.
Yeah,
Got it.
Looks better. I mean, most people there's very little local white onion. So again, if you're trying to figure out where beef steak came from, like most people would have access to
Red onions.
red onion.
So that's another thing. Like you deal with a lot of farmers locally, and so that's why the recipes have to be so flexible, because a lot of things aren't grown in all parts of the Philippines, right?
Correct. Well, I feel like when you cook, you just have to understand the dish first.
So you find an ingredient based on what's available local, and then try to
You cook what you find.
Cook what you find. Yeah, that makes sense. How can people kind of like at home try to support more local farmers so that they actually have the incentive and motivation to grow a lot of the stuff that we would want to see in local markets?
Well, one would be figure out what is local first. There's a lot of non-local
Crops.
products,
Yeah.
even in the market. Like, very few lemons are local. Most oranges are never local.
Yeah.
A lot of the fruits aren't local. So if you buy more of the local stuff,
By local, you mean endemic, like things that have always been grown in the Philippines, or local just, it could be an imported crop just made in the Philippines?
well, like I said, we were just talking about the onions. Most white onions would not be local from the market, even from the market. They'll be from Taiwan.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
And
that.
a lot of it will be very old. And so, I mean, that's it. I mean, if everyone just does, but generally people who go to the market, everything's gonna be local.
As much
But
as
if you go to
local.
the grocery store,
Then
Then
yeah,
most
maybe
of the time it's
60% of it's imported. I want Jason to tell us
oh, he
how it
better.
is.
It's good.
It's good?
Yeah.
Okay, you still have a job. Good job. So what happens if you put Nor?
I don't know.
Does it make it better or worse?
Never used it before. No, if you put nard, it's gonna be really good.
I actually am a fan of Nor, honestly.
Don't say that.
If you're cooking at home, like in a restaurant, like
Yeah, but then I think
what
there's
was
a
that?
way.
What was that Netflix show where the guy won with Nor?
don't
Final Table. Yeah, he won with Nor. But I agree, Nor at home is okay. This is not sponsored by Nor, by the way. But Nor,
I'm gonna stop talking.
give us a call.